No, I'll catch it while you're talking. I'm ready.
You actually probably right. There was no. Your roommate that could.
Good evening, everyone. I now call to order the Thursday, April 24th, 2025 meeting of the City of Sugar Land Planning and Zoning Commission. Apologies for the late start. We will start with item 2, public comment. Do we have anyone here for a public comment?
We do not, Chair.
We'll move to item 3A, consideration of an action on the minutes of the April 8th, 2025 meeting. You've got those in your packets. Any comments or questions? Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Landine. Second by Commissioner Parikh.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Smith. You know, same problem down here. I hear and I can't see. There were like 3 people at once. So a second by Commissioner Smith. Any discussion? All right, let's vote. All right, the motion passes 2, 3, 4. Oh, it passes. We will go on to item 5A, consideration of an action on a recommendation for the proposed 1-year extension of ordinance number 2305 for the Pearl at Lake Point Planned Development District Final Development Plan to the Member City Council. Good evening, Jessica. Take it away.
Good evening, Commissioners. So this is a extension request for an FDP. Just as a refresher, since it's been a few years since one of these extension requests have come in, the development code lays out the process for an extension of a final development plan and states that if a building permit has not been issued within 2 years of the date of approval of the final development plan automatically expires unless an extension is recommended by Planning and Zoning Commission and approved by City Council. An extension may be approved for good cause shown upon written application of the owner. And an extension request is not a technical re-review of the approved FDP. It just extends the point in which the FDP would expire again. So in this case, the FDP extension request is for 1 year. So City Council approved the final development plan on May 16th of 2023. So it's set to expire on May 16th, 2025. So this extension request, if approved, would move the expiration date of the final development plan to May 16th, 2026. No changes to the ordinance are being proposed, and all requirements of ordinance number 2305 would still apply. So just as a summary of what's included in this development, the Pearl at Lake Point, it's going to include 371 multifamily units ranging from 1 to 2 bedrooms, 5 live-work units located along the ground floor facing Creek Bend Drive, a structured parking garage that's integrated into the building so that it's not visible from the exterior, and it also includes some additional components including a co-working office space and meeting space on the first floor, as well as a leasing office with a fitness and gaming center and a cafe/coffee shop on the ground floor, as well as a dog park for residents. So here is the approved site layout plan. As you can see, oh, there goes my mouse. This is where the leasing office is and the fitness center. And then here are those live work units. And then here's the commercial space, which is that co-working office and the meeting space. And then here is the parking garage located within the center of the development. And then here are the approved elevations for the final development plan. And so just as a project status update, the applicant is working towards the building permit approval. They currently have their minor plat, site plan, and building permit all under review concurrently. The building permit can't be approved until the minor plat is approved and recorded, and then the site plan is approved. The applicant is working towards getting all those approvals. It's just taking a little bit of time with some easements that need to be abandoned on the property, specifically a center point easement that runs through the middle, so that's taking a bit of time, and so that is the purpose of the extension request. So with that, staff supports the recommendation of approval for the proposed 1-year time extension of ordinance number 2305 for the Pearl at Lake Point Planned Development District Final Development Plan to members of City Council, and staff and the applicant are available to answer any questions if you guys have any.
Questions for staff? I'll ask one then. Is the city satisfied with the pace of current developments and supporting of a one-year extension?
Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
So has the number always been 371, or is it somewhere? I was just looking through some other notes that we were, going through and talking about the whole Lake Point area, and I thought it was like 360 something. So it's always been 371?
It's 380 was the maximum. Sorry, the camera's like right in the way. 380 is like the maximum for the dwelling units. And so originally, I think they were proposing 370, but they're maxed out at 380. So with the 5 live work units, they had a flexible 5 extra units to choose, whether if it was going to be the conversion of the commercial to live work, or they could add another multifamily unit.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval for I should probably make my motion first. Recommend approval for the proposed one-year extension of ordinance number 2305 for the Pearl at Lake Point Plan Development District final development plan to members of City Council.
Second. Any further discussion? Please vote. That passes. Congratulations. Take this in the spirit in which it's intended. I hope we don't see you next year. Item, let's see, 5A, subdivision plat, consideration of an action on the Del Webb Sureland at Rye Hill Section 1 preliminary plat. Hello again.
Hello.
What do you have for us on this one?
Okay, so this is going to be the first residential section that you guys are seeing of the Del Webb community portion of the Rye Hill development. So I'm sure you guys are sick of seeing these slides, so I'm just going to quickly go over it. So because this is a preliminary plat, the purpose of it is to lay out the lots and streets to ensure that they conform to the minimum lot sizes and the right-of-way widths can be met. Reserves and access are shown, but things like master nodes, signature blocks, and proposed easements are not shown. Because this includes residential lots, a box exhibit is required to be provided with the preliminary plat. And the purpose of that box exhibit is to demonstrate that the proposed lots meet the required minimum lot width at the front building line. The boxes do not represent footprints, building footprints, or pads. And they are required for all non-perpendicular lots, so those lots that are on a curved street or cul-de-sac. Just a quick overview of the Rye Hill development. So the city entered into that development agreement back in December of 2023. The entire development is approximately 960 acres, and it's mixed use, containing a mix of 2,335 single-family residential and Del Webb residential lots, as well as 60 acres north of 2759 of commercial. So for this preliminary plat, it's called Del Webb Sureland at Rye Hill, Section 1. It consists of 61.74 acres, and it has 166 Del Webb residential lots, 18 reserves, and 7 blocks. Those residential lots range from 40, 50, and 65-foot wide lots, with the corner lots being an additional 10 feet wide. And access will be provided to this section via DW Sureland Drive, which you all reviewed the preliminary plat for, I believe, a month ago, that connects up to Rye Hill Parkway. So this is the approved Rye Hill general plan. As you can see, it's the area in a little bit of a brighter yellow. That is the Del Webb community portion of Rye Hill. And then here is the proposed preliminary plat. It's split between 2 sheets. So on the first sheet, you'll see majority of the residential lots. And then there is a slight connection to DW Sugarland, and then it's going to be a reserve with amenity center, which is this large reserve, and then you have a small cul-de-sac up here, as well as some lots along the street down here. Oops. And then here is the proposed box exhibit. So this is kind of where you can see the range of lot types, and then you can see that the boxes are only located on those lots that are on either a curved street or on a cul-de-sac. And here is the second sheet. Since this one is 2 cul-de-sacs, it has the boxes on most of the lots. So just as a reminder, plotting since 2019, the Planning and Zoning Commission has 3 options for when reviewing preliminary and final plots. You can approve with conditions, or disapprove with an explanation. When approving with conditions or disapproving with an explanation, a code section must be cited, and a plotting guide has been provided. And with that, staff supports the recommendation of approval for the proposed Del Webb Sureland at Rye Hill Section 1 preliminary plat.
Thank you. Questions for staff?
I do. I have 2 questions. Good evening.
I thought you were just pointing to him. Okay.
Okay.
All right, all yours.
Thank you. Looking at the, it looks like it's calling out 18 reserves on the cover page. I count 19.
I had to count this 3 times, and I got 19 one time, and then I got 18 another. I think it's because one of the ones that looks like O is a Q.
There's one that's repeated on both sheets because it goes across sheet
Is that what it
numbers.
is? You've got
That might be what it is. I think it's reserve E or something that goes across both sheets. So sheet 1 has it repeated twice because it's on both.
Okay, so then 18 is the accurate number.
Yes, it's 18.
Okay,
What's on, which one is on, I'm sorry, would you ask?
go ahead.
No, you do it.
Which one is twice?
E.
B?
E.
E.
I got it.
0.953, 0.953. Okay. I'm satisfied, thank you. I do have one more question.
Okay.
If you look at restricted reserve O, and this is just for clarity on my part, it says restricted to private access, emergency access, and public utilities. Those are all streets. Is that what you call private access in this development?
Yes, so that's what's going to be required. This is a gated community, so the code
Nope,
requires
that was
that
going to
it
be
be
my
plotted
question, is
that
it
way.
gated? Okay, thank you, that's the last of my question.
What's the difference between a single-family lot and a Del Webb lot?
So let me go back to the general plan because this is kind of laid out in the development agreement. So the single family are not going to be age restricted, so it's going to be that lighter yellow. They have a different set of minimum lot widths identified in the development agreement, and then that like brighter yellow is the Del Webb. Those are age restricted to 55 and up, and it's going to be a gated community.
All right, one more. I'm sure I'm supposed to know this, but on the box exhibit,
Okay.
I see the different color designations. So, you know, on the legend, there are designations with different colors, right? 40-foot is yellow, 50-foot is red, I guess. Are those only signifying the size of what? What are those signifying?
The
size
minimum
of what?
lot width.
The minimum lot.
So for this section, it ranges from 40, 50, and 65, and then there are 2 additional boxes signifying for those corner lots for the 50 and 65-foot wide.
Okay. I said I want one more. So I can't ask. Any other questions?
You need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval. Is this final? Sorry.
Preliminary.
Yes, sorry, I misspoke earlier. It is final authority approval.
So my motion is for, to recommend final approval on the Del Webb Sugarland at Rye Hill Section 1 preliminary plat.
I just want to clarify, it's a recommendation of approval, but it's a preliminary plat.
Yes, recommending approval of the preliminary plat so that way they can move forward with the submission of the final plat.
Right, but this is a preliminary plat.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I just don't, when we start talking about final, I get confused. So the motion is for a recommendation of approval for a preliminary plat. I'll second it. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jessica. Item 6A, Planning and Zoning Commission liaison report from the April 15th City Council meeting. Anyone here have that?
That was me, actually. I left my notes at home.
No worries.
Get you next
You
time.
can do it from memory, or we can catch you next time. Your
Yeah,
preference.
there were 3 matters that came before us, and all those 3 matters were actually approved at City Council. But without that note, it's hard to
Awesome.
pinpoint correctly.
Great. Thank you very much. Excellent
Sorry.
report. 6B, city staff report.
Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commission. We just wanted to remind you that you will have a joint public hearing with City Council on May 6th. That's going to be at 6 p.m. You will also have your next regularly scheduled meeting on May 13th. At that meeting, we do anticipate that you will have a site development permit. This is something new that was incorporated when the Hill was established. And we possibly will have also a plat on that meeting for you. We anticipate same time as your regularly scheduled meeting at 6:30. We also wanted to let you know that we're going to be getting into that time of year where we're going to go to the Texas American Planning Association Conference. This year it's going to be held in Bryan College Station, specifically I think on Texas A&M's campus. Those dates are going to be October 22nd through the 24th, so if you could pencil that in now. We will be providing some information upcoming about registration and so forth with you. And that's it. Thank you.
I had 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
What is the time on the joint meeting? What's the start time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. And then second, I don't know if this is you or maybe Lisa, I'm curious if, and maybe this isn't the appropriate setting, but if any feedback from the community meeting last night on the matters that we discussed on Tuesday.
Not on the agenda.
They'll cover that at the May 6th meeting, the feedback. And it's also going to be the public hearing, so.
Okay.
I have a question just about the next meeting agenda, okay? Did I hear you say that in addition to the joint meeting, those other things you mentioned are at that same meeting?
So the May 6th meeting will have a joint public hearing that you are going to have with City Council, and you will also take action. So the way I understand it is you're going to have the meeting, it's scheduled, can't have it before that time, and then you are going to be asked for consideration and action on that same evening on May 6th.
Right. But the other things you mentioned were for the following meeting. I wanted to make sure that we weren't doing those other 2 things on top of a joint meeting, because if we
No.
were, I was going to suggest that we not do that.
I may have confused you when I said regularly scheduled time, because the City Council is also going to be holding a meeting on May 13th to canvass the election, but that is going to occur before your meeting takes place at 6:30.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to adjourn?
We've got a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Landine, second by Commissioner Brown. That motion passes. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.